Okay. Who's calling now? Whee! Art block. Also known as creative block, an artist block is a period of time when an artist is unable to create. Your mind is just blank. You don't have any ideas bursting from your soul, waiting to be brought to life on your canvas. Or through whatever medium you use. Hello, beautiful people. So. I've been struggling for the past week trying to figure out what I could draw for both Instagram and YouTube. The time was running out, and it did run out, and I had nothing ready to show you. There was not a single design on site in my brain. Just no thoughts. Head empty. But then I remembered I went through this before. I know what has to be done to overcome this. So today I shall be working on my OC Zoragon while explaining how I fought art block and how you can do it too. Tip number 1, join art challenges. The most popular art challenge I would recommend joining is the Draw This in Your Style challenge for a very simple reason. You don't have to think about anything besides copying an already existing artwork in your own style. The character is already there, just like the pose and the color palette as well. I find this especially good for practicing and perfecting your own style without wasting too much time on composition and character design like you would with a regular illustration. Another fun challenge to spark creativity could be the Pause Art Challenge, which again already gives you a design to work with, but in this case you still gotta figure out the general composition and pose of the character, which could be challenging if you are struggling with art block. Last but not least, there are the prompt challenges such as Inktober or Mermaid, which I must admit never really helped me much when I was struggling to figure out what to draw. Just one word and setting is not enough for me to spark my creativity. Not always, at least. But nevertheless, I still believed prompt challenges could be a valuable option as well to fight art block. Tip number 2, have some hobbies. There were months when I spent so much time drawing that I completely ignored all the other things that made me happy and that I enjoyed doing in my spare time. So I was spending all that free time grinding and making illustrations after illustrations, until I realized that all those side hobbies that I gave up on used to play a huge role for my inspiration and motivation. For me, gaming is one of those hobbies, and as a matter of fact, Zoragon's backstory and world are heavily inspired by the Elden Ring's world. Not only you can use your hobbies as inspiration, but also to reset your brain and give it a break. It's usually during these moments when my mind is calm and relaxed that I get the best ideas for my illustrations. It can even happen by doing some fun activities. It can even happen by doing some fun activities outside or even just walking around. So please, by all means, go out and touch some grass. Tip number 3. Just study something. There's always something to learn and improve on. My suggestion is to pick something you haven't worked on in a while or ever and practice it. For example, I never knew how to draw backgrounds, so I always avoided them. However, I was also stuck and didn't know what to draw, so I looked up some tutorials on YouTube and followed along. Surprisingly, after drawing a few backgrounds, I've got this sudden surge of inspiration, and it seemed like my creativity was finally back. So yeah, just practice something new or out of your comfort zone. It can really help. And even if it doesn't, you're still improving as an artist. So it's a win either way. Tip number 4, mood board and soundtrack. This is mainly for those who already have an idea of the character they would want to portray. So, what I started doing is creating different references folders for each original character that I have. The references include potential poses, outfits, color palettes, prompts, scenes, places, etc., etc. Basically, everything that I think could relate to that specific character. This could really be helpful when you want to make more original characters content. I've also been creating full Spotify playlists dedicated to my characters. This especially helps me visualize their whole storyline. Just like I could visualize a movie I've already watched just by listening to the soundtrack. It could also be very helpful for those who are interested in making webtoons or comics to lay out the story through music. Tip number 5. It's fan art time! This last one kind of includes almost all the other tips and is pretty self-explanatory. Take a scene from any piece of content you like and redraw it. Once again, the character is already there, so you don't have to think about the design. The color palette is also already there. So yeah, these were all my tips. I'll leave you to the rest of the time-lapse and let me know in the comments if you got any other ways to beat art block or if these tips were helpful. Thank you. Oh my.